Hello all and welcome. This is SkillCourt version 12 senior project for spring 2020. For this project, our main goal was to make the SkillCourt application fully functional. The biggest issue that this application had was that whenever a user played a game, there were instances that more than two pads lit up at the same time. Also, sometimes the pad in the middle of the game would randomly lose connection, causing the application to crash. This was our main priority. We had to fix this issue or else the overall application would not work. We also wanted to redesign the application because it had the default Android Studio dark theme layout and the application did not look unique. The dark theme layout made it difficult to use the application during a sunny day. Another issue with the application was that users were not able to save their scores. Once you start a new game or close the application, those achievements would have been lost. The SkillCourt website was also having issues. It had a very slow response time. Those are the biggest problems that we had to face. There were other big problems as well, as you can see here. Our solution for the SkillCourt website was to create a new website using a much better overall design. The old website was not properly designed. It had lots of useless extra code that made its response time very slow. After we discovered that the pads had network issues, we noticed that sometimes packets were being dropped, which caused pads light off signals to not be received. So, we implemented a TCP connection between the pads and the application. This solution prevented packets from being dropped. Our solution for the pads losing connection in the middle of the game was to have the pads send constant messages to the application. If a certain pad stops sending those messages, then the application will know that the specific pad had lost connection, so the application will skip that pad and play with the remaining pads. Also, whenever a game was over, threads were not probably be interrupted, so threads remain open in the backend, causing the next game to not function properly, since it still had all messages from the previous game. We noticed this issue and fixed it as well. We also decided to implement a database that would allow users to save their scores and times at the end of each game. Players will be able to see their previous scores at any time. We also implemented a new back-to-back feature that allowed the same game to restart all over again without having a user press play again. As you can see from this slide, these are some of the issues that were implemented as well. This is the old SkillCourt user interface. This is the new SkillCourt user interface. As you can see, we added lighter colors with more descriptive buttons. On the right side, you can see how the application will show the previous scores that the user has saved. It can also show a light graph that will show you the progress more clearly. This is the Gantt chart that shows how we were able to accomplish all our work. As you can see, we had to constantly deal with the pad light up issues throughout the whole project. These are some of the most important user stories. They revolved around the problem that I talked about from the previous slide. These are some of the more important user stories with a little bit more details on them. This is a use case diagram that explains how a user will be able to save a game. Once a game is over, the user will have to press the save button and create or choose a session. A user may also add notes if they wish. This diagram explains how a user may contact the product owner. It shows what the SkillCourt website will do if a user decides to email the product owner. This is a sequence diagram that explains how the SkillCourt application is communicating with the pads. This is a sequence diagram that explains how the SkillCourt application is interacting with the SQLite database. This is how the back-to-back feature works. After the game is over, it will restart again automatically any amount of time that the user wants. This is how the pad sends constant messages to the application, which shows that the pad has not lost connection yet. This is the system design for the SkillCourt application. We did not change any of the overall original system design from the previous versions. This is the system design for the SkillCourt website. This is the system deployment diagram. It is the same as the previous version from SkillCourt. This is the class diagram related to the database only. This is just a part of the overall application diagram. The yellow classes are the classes related to the database. This is the full class diagram that shows all the classes from the application. The yellow classes are related to the database, as I mentioned before. The red classes are the classes that we edited. The other classes were not edited except for the user interface. This is the main algorithm for the application. It is the play again method that controls when the game starts and finishes. These are just a small few of the test cases that we use for the application. We constantly test the application throughout the entire project. This test case shows that the pads have connected successfully with the SkillCourt application. This test case shows that if a pad gets disconnected in the middle of a game, then the application should not crash and continue with the remaining paths. This test case shows that a user can play a game and there will not be any path light-up issues. If back-to-back is 0, then game should not restart after the current game is over. This test case shows that if the back-to-back input is set to 3, then game should restart automatically 3 times. This test shows if there are no saved games or sessions yet, then when a user presses the start button, a warning message should pop up saying to users that a game has not been saved yet. Application should handle empty database. This test case shows that a user should be able to save any game after the game is over. Users should be able to create a new session or choose a previous session and save the game to that session. Users should be able to go to stats in the home screen and the saved session and game should be displayed there. These are some of the software and hardware that we use for the project. Thank you very much. If you have any other questions, please feel free to contact us at any time. You can also get more information if you visit SkillCourtV12.com.